Somewhere in the darkest depths of Texas lived a man named Chris, who adored Sonic. Not only Sonic, but My Little Pony and many other Chinese cartoons. Chris dedicated a very large part of his life to these habits, collecting all of the merchandise. He even had a super rare Applejack fedora that his mum bought him for his 26th birthday, which he thought was very cool. His room was plastered in posters of his favorite game characters: Sonic the Hedgehog, Hatsune Miku, the gang from Bakugan, and a custom-made Applejack X Fluttershy poster that his mother did not entirely agree with. Chris was walking down to the local store to buy some more Cheetos and Mountain Dew when he mistakenly placed his flame-painted cane on a rock and tripped over, causing him to land on his belly. Chris looked up to see the walkers-by laughing at him, which brought back memories from high school when he was bullied by the idiot jocks for liking superior Chinese cartoons to them. Chris started to cry, but wiped away the tears of emotional grief with his Hawaiian shirt sleeve. He picked himself up and tipped his Applejack fedora to a couple of fine-looking ladies who were walking past. "M'lady," he said with a whimper. The girls looked back at him and let out a giggle. Chris assessed his wounds and found a graze on his knee. He was going to need a Band-Aid for that. Chris pressed onto the store, grabbing 9 packets of Cheetos, 6 packets of Doritos, and 2 cartons of Mountain Dew cans, along with the coolest-looking Adventure Time Band-Aids he could find. When he went to the counter to buy his fresh swag, the cashier scanned everything and told him that the price came to a total of $70. But when Chris pulled out his limited edition Big Bang Theory Bazinga wallet, he found that he only had $5 to his name. Frick! Mum must have forgotten to give me my pocket money. The cashier looked at him in confusion, as if he had never seen a grown man that gets pocket money from his mother still. "No money, no Jew, kid," he said in a tired voice. "Maybe if we worked out a deal, how about I give you the game cheats to Toho, and we'll call it even, hey?" Chris said as he stroked his neckbeard gently. "Look, kid, if you don't have the money to pay for these things, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." The cashier now looking frustrated. Chris put his hands down on the counter and pulled his fedora over his face to make him look menacing. "Make me," he said. "Go ahead and make my day, you ignoramus, you mongoloid." The cashier, now sick of the man's presence, shouted for him to get out of his face before he gets angry. And just as he says that, he stepped forward quickly as to try and make Chris flinch. Chris ran as far as he could, and looked back at the store from the footpath. "You will rue the day that you denied me my Doritos and Mountain Dew." Chris ran into his room crying about what happened that day. His mother knocked on his locked door, asking if he was okay. "Go away, Mum! It's all your fault that I don't have my Mountain Dew. It's all your fault I got a mortal wound on my knee. And it's all your fault that when you set up dates for me, they all got terribly wrong. I don't want to ever see you again!" Chris screamed. His tears grew bigger and bigger, and they showed no signs of stopping. Chris looked to his Sonic Underground poster and prayed that he would come and sweep him away. It was then that Chris remembered a story he heard when he was still in school. His friends used to tell him about how by going to a website called 4chan and asking them to hack their enemies, all their problems went away. Chris logged onto his Alienware laptop and typed into his Yahoo search bar, 4chan/b/. He clicked the first link and began typing into the box about all his problems. He finished it off by adding, "I just wish Sonic would come and sweep me off my feet to save the day, like he did against Dr. Eggman in the games," and attaching a photo of him photoshopped next to his favorite pony Applejack. The thread sprung to life with unwanted hate messages. Chris sat into the dark and mouldy corner of his room, where it almost looked as if there was a little white, blue, and green forest growing from the mould. He imaged a life in this enchanted forest where he could run freely without a worry in the world. A life where he could live out his fantasies of marrying his one true love, Hatsune Miku, while having an affair with Applejack on the side. He imagined of how he and Sonic could eat chili dogs together and run together at the speed of light. He lost himself in this reality for what seemed to be hours, before he decided to make some new art before going to bed under his Mega Man bedsheets. He clicked open MS Paint and began to draw stick figures of all the people that had wronged him, being beaten by Sonic, and being turned into big rings. He smiled at this thought, and kept smiling at this thought until he fell asleep. The next morning, Chris was awoken by his mother screaming, "Oh my God, please no!" Chris shouted back, "God isn't real, you bigoted imbecile!" As he looked over to his portrait of Carl Sagan and a fresh banana that sat on his bedside table. He got up to get his mother to make him some pancakes, but when he got to the kitchen, she wasn't there. This was strange. "Mum, where are you, and why aren't you making me pancakes? You make me pancakes every Saturday, Mum. Why are you such a bitch?" he screamed, but to no avail. Not even a whimper of a reply. He flicked the TV onto CNN, his favorite TV channel of all. "Breaking news. Masses of people have gone missing, having been replaced with tens of gold rings. We believe this may be the work of a serial killer or a serial kidnapper." The television showed a shot of the cash register at the store where Chris was refused service yesterday. A pile of gold rings where there was once a nincompoop. Could this really be real? Chris thought to himself. Is this a dream? But before he could even begin pinching himself, he smelled a distinct smell of chili dogs coming from his mother's bedroom. Chris walked slowly, but excitingly, towards the scent, stepping on a couple Cheetos along the way, crushing them into the carpet. He saw a pile of rings on his mother's bed. No, this is wrong.
"No!"
A sly voice sounded from behind Chris's back.
"As long as we have the power of friendship, it's all right!"
Chris looked around to see a humanoid hedgehog, a blue humanoid hedgehog, wearing red sneakers and white gloves. What did you do with my mummy?"
"She was too slow!"
Sonic chuckled. Sonic edged closer to Chris and pulled down his pants.
"Gotta go fast!"
Sonic beat off Chris's pimple-encrusted wiener faster than the speed of sound, causing sonic booms, and within seconds, Chris climaxed into Sonic's eyes by accident.
"That was too easy!"
Sonic sneered.
"Step it up!"
Now speaking with a hint of menace within his voice. Sonic began beating Chris's willy like never before, again and again, until Chris's body could not take it any longer, and all the blood in his body had met in his raging boner.
"Hey! Pump it!"
Sonic said as he bit the knob off Chris's Doritos-flavored willy, causing a fountain of blood to sprout.
"Oh yeah! This is happening!"
And just like that, Sonic sped off into the distance to grant the wishes of more young men who have grown fed up of their bullies. So next time you get laughed at, make sure you don't ask Sonic for help, because this may just happen to you too.